Hi guys, welcome back to Listen to Myself. This is Pearly. So today I was planning to talk about another topic today, but when I was scripting for the topic that I was originally planning to talk about, I realized that I still need some more time to do the research. So that's why I decided to do another topic today, a more like a casual one. So I don't need to do that much of research in advance. So anyway, today I want to talk about the art of being multidimensional. So just by looking at the title, it might sound a little bit confusing, like, what is multidimensional and things like that. But anyway, like later I'm gonna explain it. So basically, I realized that I'm not so sure about your the environment that you grew up, like the surroundings, but at least in my environment where I grew up in Taiwan, the society is mainly when it comes to your title in the society or your role in the society or your job in the society. It mainly, most of the people only have one title. It's much more common for people to only have one title in life. For example, as employee at a big corporate company, or like a teacher, or a worker, or just like what I mean. Like right now, I couldn't really think of that many titles in the society, but just like that. So most of the times I would say, like, at least based on what I heard and also what I saw, a lot of times basically you just choose one job and then you just keep doing that. Or maybe you, in like, how to say, like in your journey, you change to another company or another industry, and yeah, your title might change a little bit, but it's basically like you do one role and have one title at a time. But what about those people who want to be multidimensional in at the same time? So I realized that, like, just like what I said, in the environment where I grew up, basically, like, after you graduated from high school, most of the people here in Taiwan, we go to college because the tuition here is quite cheap. So it's like so common. Like, yeah, most of the people, I would say, I forgot. I think I saw that numbers before, but I'm not so sure right now whether it's accurate or not. But I think at least like 90% of people go to college right now. I'm gonna confirm that later, but I think it's like the proportion is really high. And so basically, like, people will just choose like a degree, like a major, right, in college. And then after that, you go do something either related to like degree or not related to that degree. But I would say most of the people, I think they will still do something related to their degrees. Their, like, the degree they chose when they were still like a teenager, basically when they just turned adult, because that was during high school time. Like, at least in Taiwan system, like, we need to choose a major when we were in high school, and then you commit to that major for 4 years in your life in college. Of course, you can change your major, but a lot of times people think it's too much of a like hustle to change to another major and things like that. So a lot of people, they just stayed at the major they chose when they were still like a high school student. And I remember when I was in high school, I felt really uncomfortable about this rule. Maybe not really rule, but the fact that you have to choose one major to commit to for 4 years in your life. in college, and basically this major has a lot of thing to do with the career you are going to pursue in the future. So it's a very big decision, but at that time I was still a 17 or 18 years old student, right? Like I didn't know anything about this world yet. I would say like I knew a little bit, but for sure not enough for me to decide what career I want to pursue in the future and what major I want to did in the university. It was just such a big decision, but we just have to make that decision when we were still like so young in our life. So at that time, I was really uncomfortable with the idea of having to choose like just one major, for example, finance, mathematics, or marketing. No, wait, do you have like a marketing major? Not really, right? Oh my God, I'm like so long. Like it has been so long since I graduated from college. So I forgot a lot about a lot of things, or like politics, social science, or engineering, and like software engineering and things like that. So, right, like I was really uncomfortable with the idea of having to choose just one major because I think I already realized at that time that I have a lot of things that I'm interested in, that I'm curious about learning about a lot of different things. And actually, I realized that a lot of my peers were like that. We were not so sure what we want to do in the future, and we have a lot of interest, but we were kind of like asked or even forced to just choose one major in college, which I find really just unnatural for me because it's just so natural for us as young, like being so young, like young students, to have a lot of things that we are interested in our life because we have never tried those things before. So, in the end, I couldn't choose a major, like I just couldn't. And I was really glad that at that time, I get to have the opportunity to pursue my bachelor degree in Japan. So, in Japan, the major that I did was liberal arts. Like, I know, like this degree, the name of this degree is so confusing. Like, every time, like 9 out of 10 times when I told others, like my major back in university was liberal arts, I think most of people, like, yeah, I remember most of the people thought it was just like arts, like you learn art, but really it's not really like art. Like liberal arts basically it's really hard to explain, but it's basically a broad-based area of study. So you will have a lot of like options to choose from, like your courses. So like we don't really have any mandatory courses. A lot, like most of them are optionals. So you just get to choose and decide what kind of courses you want to take. So for example, there are of course arts, humanities, and also social science, or like. Wait, I wrote it down, but I couldn't read my own handwriting. Yeah, so it's like social science or math and things like that. So there are a lot of different kind of courses. I remember at that time, I did a lot of different and really interesting courses. I learned law, legal studies, and also I tried architecture class as well. So I even built the architecture like the models for the buildings, and also I did like for communication as well, and also for negotiation, and also for politics as well, and also international relations. So as you can see, like basically like the school offer a lot of different categories of courses for us to choose from. So I think that's like doing this degree was one of the best decisions that I made in life because I think it suited me so perfectly at that stage of my life because I really want to explore a lot of things, and I know that I'm interested in learning about different fields because I just want to explore, and I have so many things that I think I like, that I think I will like, but I've never get the chance to try yet. So I think it's a really, really perfect degree for me at that time in my university. So I find it like this kind of degree, like it's just like I'm really thankful that this kind of degree exists. And but it was interesting because just like what I said, I grew up in an environment where basically the values that I learned, or like just like unconsciously already instilled in my head, was like you just have to major in one things in your life, just like spend a lot of time and then go master one thing, being very professional and very specialized in one area of subject or study. So actually, like right now, when I look back, I think like my degree was fantastic, but at that time when I was studying in that degree, actually I wasn't too happy about this whole only having one major thing. And I find this thing quite interesting because so at that time I was like, I told myself I gotta specialize in just one thing. So that's why I decided I'm going to spend a lot of my credits to take legal studies and legal classes, because I need to specialize in one thing, like based on all the values that I had before, what I heard, what I saw, I felt like the only way I could fit into the society and also to earn a living is to have like a specialized area. And the more specialized I am, the better. So at that time, I was like, I gotta just choose one area of studies. And in the end, I decided to choose law because, yeah, it was just, I had a really good professor, and then I think I'm quite good at it. I'm definitely not bad at it. So I was like, yeah, and I don't hate it, like I think I like it when I was a student, just learning about all these like legal concepts and all the logical things. I think it's really interesting to learn about the logical flows, and also like how to make arguments and things like that. And then you got to do, in the opposite side, how do you say, like you got a lot of chances when you are like studying law to try to look at things from different perspectives. And I find that quite fascinating and really, really cool. So at that time, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna specialize myself in law. And so start from, I think the third year of college, I completely, basically like 99%, I close myself up to doing any other things or explore any other interest of mine, or even things I'm passionate about at that time. I decided not to do them or like drop them temporarily, because I told myself I need to just focus all my time and spend all my time on only one thing, just like specialize in this area, law at that time. And also, like I'm going to later go to law school to further specialize in it, because, like in college, it was just like courses like I could take, but it's not really like a specialized degree. So at that time, I was like, I'm going to do law school later, and then later I will become a lawyer and things like that. So, I can fit into a society, I can earn a living, make good money. And at that time, I was like that. So now looking back, it's interesting how at that time I felt like I closed up so many of my potentials and opportunities that might happen in life. Because the thing is, like, really in life, for me at least, based on my personal experiences, I think it's quite unnatural to ask a person to just focus on one thing and do that thing for his or her whole life. Because like then if you do that, unless you are those like very, very lucky people, you just found your like thing, like you're so good at and so passionate about, and you are not tired of doing that your whole life, But I think for most of the people, we didn't get the chance to actually find that thing that early in our life. So I just felt like at that time I lost a lot of opportunity to further explore my own interest and also my other interest and also my potentials, which is it's quite a pity. And later I realized that like after I got more chances to meet up with people from different backgrounds and also to study abroad, travel abroad, and things like that, I realized that from time to time that I will meet people who have like just a lot of different titles in their life, which is really cool. Like for example, at the same time, they might like be like a language teacher, but also like they own like their own business, like online business of selling products, or they have their own shop online, or they're at the same time an illustrator and a writer and also a speaker and things like that. So from time to time, I will meet people that have a lot of titles, being like very multi-dimensional in their life. And I find that really cool because when I was younger, I didn't know you can actually do that, being this multi-dimensional, because I thought we just need to stick to just one thing. Of course, like no one asks you just can only do one thing. But I think I had this mindset that you just have to spend all your time doing one thing. And for other things, it can be just your hobbies. But I never realized that you can actually make all of them become like your side hustles. And I find this idea to be really cool. And I think it is really important to leave room for your potential and also all the possibility that might happen to you to bloom, just like flowers. And if you can find things that you are good at, plus you are passionate about, then you really just find the thing that you can do for a long time and to be really good at in your life. I think that's the ideal case, that to find something that you are not only passionate about, but you're also really good at. And for like everybody have like different talents, we have different gifts. So some people, they might have they can do, how do you say, they can have a lot of titles because they are good at or passionate about a lot of things. But for some people, maybe only a few titles, but that's totally fine. But I think it's better not to close up the potential that you might have inside you, because until you actually give it a try, actually you spend some time on it, you never know if this is going to be something that you might be good at or you might be like really passionate about, or both. So I think it's really important to be just open-minded and to leave room for all these potentials that might have within you to bloom, just like what I said. And sometimes I think when I think about the counter arguments of the thing that I just talked about, I would say a lot of time I also got very kind of in a dilemma where I felt like if I really want to master one thing, for example, now at that time I was really interested in legal studies, like going to law school and just study law in general, then just better not to waste your time to do other things that is not related to law. You just better to spend all your time just study or working or just researching and things like that. Otherwise, if you are not spending that much of time on one thing, then how can you master that? How can you be better at someone than someone else and things like that? But the thing is, I think, first of all, I think there's this myth that in order to master one area of study, you need to spend a lot of time on that. But I think it really depends. Of course, there are some really difficult topics that maybe law is one of them, and maybe also medical degree. But for a lot of subjects in life, like if you know how to learn effectively, then you can actually save a lot of time. And you can already become quite good at it. Maybe you couldn't master it, but you can already become quite good at it. after not so long time of like studying it, right? So I realized, I would say, I would try to argue that probably the most important skill in our life, no, not the most important, but one of the most important skills in our life is to know how to learn. Like learning how to learn is super important. And the learning method that suits you might, how do you say it? Like suits others might not suits you. So you really got to find like the way that you can learn the most effectively, and you can also enjoy the learning process. I think this ability is so important to cultivate, to develop. Because if you are good at learning, then just like what I said, you can save a lot of time. Probably other people need to spend like 1,000 hours to master this subject, but you only need to spend like 500 hours to master this because you know how to learn. So I think knowing how to learn is super important, and also how to read as well, because when you learn, you need to read a lot of things, right? So to consume knowledge and things like that. So I would say these two abilities are just super important. I remember when I, like so many years ago, I watched one really good like course online. It's a free online course. I think I found that on Coursera, and it's called like how to learn, or learning how to learn, something like that. It's a really famous and popular course on Coursera. So if you're interested, you could like check that out. And I think it's also really important to be careful not to kill your curiosity in your process of learning, and also not to kill like your ability to enjoy learning, your learning process in, how do you say, like in your learning journey. Because unfortunately, I think back in high school or junior high school or like elementary school, a lot of times like we focus a lot of learnings on exams. Like our goal is to take exam, to excel in exams. But in this kind of process, I realized that this kind of system has a tendency to make students hate learning, because, we just like, when it's all about exams, it's just really annoying. And it's just, yeah, like, you know what I mean? When like all your end goals is about exams, and exam itself is like, I hate that. So like this kind of educational system is like, it's really making students not liking, like end up hating like learning itself. So they never got the chance to actually learn how to enjoy the learning process. So when they became an adult, they might stop learning because they just don't want to learn. They associate this activity to like a negative memories, like back then when they were still in high school or junior high school and things like that. So I think learning how to learn, and then just be careful not to kill your curiosity or like your ability of enjoying learning. These two ability is so important. So actually, like, am I still on my own topic today? Like, I feel like I've started to talk about a lot of random things. But anyway, like, I just want to, like, in the end, I just want to stress that it's totally fine to be multidimensional. And that's what I'm striving to become. Like, I think I'm really, like, I'm pretty much sure right now I'm a person that just, like, I'm passionate about a lot of things, and I wouldn't satisfy if I've only have like one title. That say if I'm a teacher, I wouldn't satisfy with just that title. I just like listed out all the titles that I want to become in life, and I would love to share it with you. So teacher for sure, not for sure, but I mean, like, I realized that I'm pretty good at teaching people, I guess. Like could I say that myself? Like, I mean, like, I think I'm like not bad, I guess. And also content creator, and also maybe a filmmaker, and also a ski coach, because I love skiing and I would love to teach people on that. And also a podcast host, or maybe like in the future a yoga teacher, a writer. And not only I want to write like just books for the adults, but I also would love to write children's book, or maybe like become an illustrator, or maybe a lawyer. Like just because I decided not to pursue law school and at the moment I'm not going to become a lawyer, it doesn't prevent me from just rule out the possibility of maybe I will still become a lawyer in the future. Who knows? There are so many possibilities and so many potentials out there. So just like what I said, I think it is important to just don't close yourself up to just to let yourself to let your own potentials to come out. Don't close up the doors from within you and to just let all the possibilities to come out, because if you never give it a try, if you never just give it a thought, or at least give it a thought, you might miss out some really crazily gifted potentials you might have within you, or things that you are actually really passionate about, but just because you have never thought about it, you have never given it a try, you never know that kind of thing exists within you. So yeah, that's basically it. I want to end this episode just here, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye bye. Bye bye.